Charlotte Perkins Gilman (1860–1935) was an American author, feminist, and social reformer. She was born in Hartford, Connecticut, and grew up in a family with a strong intellectual and progressive background. Gilman's writings and activism played a significant role in challenging societal norms and advocating for women's rights and gender equality. Gilman's most famous work is the short story, The Yellow Wallpaper, 1892, which explores themes of mental illness, female oppression, and the importance of personal agency. The story drew from Gilman's personal experiences with postpartum depression and the restrictive treatment prescribed to women at the time. It remains a landmark piece of literature and a classic feminist text. In addition to The Yellow Wallpaper, Gilman wrote extensively on feminist theory and social issues. Her nonfiction works include Women and Economics, 1898, in which she argued for women's economic independence, and The Home, Its Work and Influence, 1903, which challenged traditional notions of domesticity. Gilman was a staunch advocate for women's rights and believed that women's subordination was a product of societal structures rather than inherent gender differences. She argued for greater opportunities for women in education, work, and political participation. She was involved in various feminist organizations and delivered lectures on women's rights and social reform. Gilman's writings and activism had a significant impact on the women's movement of her time and beyond. She contributed to the emergence of feminist thought and challenged conventional notions of gender roles and women's place in society. Her work continues to be studied and celebrated for its insights into gender inequality and its calls for social change. In addition to her contributions to feminism, Gilman was also a prolific author of fiction and poetry. She wrote numerous novels, short stories, and poems, often exploring themes of gender, marriage, and social justice. Charlotte Perkins Gilman's legacy as a feminist thinker, writer, and advocate remains influential today. Her works continue to inspire discussions on gender equality, women's rights, and the complexities of gender roles in society. The Yellow Wallpaper is a short story written by Charlotte Perkins Gilman, first published in 1892. The story is told through a series of diary entries by an unnamed narrator, a woman who is suffering from what is implied to be postpartum depression. The story begins with the narrator and her husband, John, renting a colonial mansion for the summer. The narrator, a writer, is confined to a room on the top floor with yellow wallpaper that she finds repulsive. She becomes increasingly fixated on the wallpaper and begins to see strange patterns and shapes within it. As the days pass, the narrator's mental state deteriorates. She becomes increasingly isolated and obsessed with the wallpaper. She believes that there is a woman trapped behind the pattern, desperately trying to escape. The narrator's condition worsens as she becomes more convinced of the existence of the trapped woman. Despite the narrator's pleas for a change in environment or activity, John dismisses her concerns and prescribes complete rest and seclusion. As the weeks go by, the narrator's obsession with the wallpaper intensifies, leading to a descent into madness. In the final entries, the narrator, in a state of delusion, rips off the wallpaper in an attempt to free the woman she believes is trapped. Her actions shock and frighten John, who faints upon discovering her. The Yellow Wallpaper is a chilling exploration of mental illness, female oppression, and the dangers of societal control. It delves into themes of confinement, the denial of agency, and the detrimental effects of suppressing one's voice and desires. The story is often interpreted as a critique of the medical and societal treatment of women during the Victorian era. Gilman's story is celebrated for its powerful portrayal of the narrator's descent into madness and the subtle subversion of traditional gender roles. It continues to be studied and analyzed for its psychological depth and its reflection of the struggles faced by women in a patriarchal society.